Welcome back to another episode of Haunted America.
After 1 week away, we're kicking things back off with one of the most haunted locations in all of America.
Today we want to inform you more on why this location is so haunted, and what about this location draws in the nation's top paranormal researchers.
Please join us and learn more about the Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Before we get into the show, if you have any haunted stories you'd like to share with us and have read on the show, email us at hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support our never-ending quest for answers into the paranormal, think about donating to help us out. Link is in the description below. Any donation is greatly appreciated. Or subscribe to our Patreon to get exclusive content such as post-investigation mini podcasts and much more. One last thing. If you are in the New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio region and know any places we could investigate, let us know. Jess himself has over 25 years experience within the paranormal field, and myself being a medium, we are able to give more insight and communication as to the hauntings of these places. We are available upon request, free of charge. Once again, you can contact us by emailing us at hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. Now, let's get into the episode. In 1883, the land that currently holds the Waverly Hills Sanatorium was purchased by one Major Thomas H. Hayes. Major Hayes was in need of a school for his daughters to attend, so he started a one-room schoolhouse that was located on Pages Lane. He hired a woman named Lizzie Lee Harris to teach at the school. Her love for the tiny school, in addition to her fondness for Scott's Waverly novels, prompted her to name the little schoolhouse Waverly School. Major Hayes liked the name and chose to name his property Waverly Hill. The Board of Tuberculosis Hospital kept this name after purchasing the land and opening the sanatorium.
In the early 1900s, Jefferson County was severely stricken with an outbreak of tuberculosis. There were many tuberculosis cases in Louisville at the time because all of the wetlands along the Ohio River, which were perfect for the tuberculosis bacteria. To try to contain the disease, a 2-story wooden sanatorium was opened, which consisted of an administrative main building and 2 open-air pavilions, each housing 20 patients for the treatment of early cases.
People who were afflicted with tuberculosis were isolated from the general public and placed in an area where they could rest, stay calm, and have plenty of fresh air. Sanatoriums were built on high hills surrounded by peaceful woods to create a serene atmosphere to help the patients recover. Tuberculosis was becoming an epidemic in Valley Station, Pleasure Ridge Park, and other parts of Jefferson County in Kentucky. The little tuberculosis clinic was filled with more than 140 people, and it was obvious that a much larger hospital was needed to treat those afflicted with the condition. Because tuberculosis was so extremely contagious and at epidemic proportions, those living with it could not be allowed to live and exist among the general population. It was not known at the time that tuberculosis was an airborne disease.
Waverly Hills was a self-contained community, a city in and of itself, complete with its own zip code. It had its own post office, water treatment facility, grew its own fruits and vegetables, raised its own meat for slaughter, and maintained many of the other necessities of everyday life. Everyone at Waverly, patients, nurses, doctors, and other employees, had to say goodbye to everything they knew on the outside world. Once you went to Waverly Hills, you became a permanent resident on the hill. Oddly enough, despite the fact many patients received visits from loved ones on visiting day. When the visit was over, the visitors left Waverly and ventured back out into the community. That right there is another risk all in of itself. Risking bringing that disease back into town, not knowing that you could yourself have caught it and end up back in Waverly Hills, but this time as a patient.
In the early part of 1911, the city of Louisville began to make preparations to build a new city hospital, and the hospital commissioners decided in their plans that there would be no provision made in the new city hospital for the admission of pulmonary tuberculosis, and the Board of Tuberculosis Hospital was given $25,000 to erect a hospital for the care of advanced cases of tuberculosis. On August 31st of 1912, all the tuberculosis patients from the city hospital were relocated to temporary quarters and tents on the grounds of Waverly Hills, pending the completion of a hospital for advanced cases. In December of 1912, a hospital for advanced cases opened for the treatment of another 40 patients, and in 1914, a children's pavilion was added with another 50 beds, making the known capacity around 130 patients. The children's pavilion was not only for sick children, but also for the children of tuberculosis patients who could not be cared for properly otherwise. This report also mentions that the goal was to add a new building each year to continually grow, so there may have actually been more beds available.
Due to constant need for repairs on the wooden structures, need for a more durable structure, as well as more beds so that the people would not be turned away due to lack of space, construction of a 5-story building that could hold more than 400 patients began in March 1924. The new building opened on October 17, 1926, but after the introduction of streptomycin in 1943, the number of tuberculosis cases gradually lowered until there was no longer need for such a large hospital. The remaining patients were sent to Hazelwood Sanatorium in Louisville. Waverly Hills closed in June 1961.
The building was reopened in 1962 as the Woodhaven Geriatric Center, a nursing home primarily treating aging patients with various stages of dementia and mobility limits, as well as the severely mentally handicapped. However, Woodhaven failed greatly because it was severely understaffed and overcrowded. Woodhaven also had reports of patient neglect and was closed by the state of Kentucky in 1982. 1982. There we go.
Yeah.
Over the next decade, Waverly Hills would fall into more dark times, vandalized, damaged, and nearly condemned. Previous property owners had no desire to maintain the luster of the building and did little to stop people from slowly destroying it. It's sad that a place that played such a vital role during this period of history and medical discovery was not only over, but now disrespected. Now, let's get into some of the more disturbing and haunting parts of Waverly Hills.
The tunnel served as a passageway to transport bodies and supplies in and out of the sanatorium. It was built on the first floor with the rest of the building. The corridor is 500 feet to the bottom of the hill and has a set of stairs on one side, which were the stairs used for the workers. On the other side, there was a cart that moved up and down the staircase, which transported supplies and other necessities. Since antibiotics did not exist in the time that the sanatorium was active, other forms of aid were used to treat TB patients. For example, heat lamps, fresh air, positive talk, and reassurance helped keep patients alive. Since the death rate of TB patients at the time was 1 death per day. However, at the peak of the disease, the sight of the dead being carried away in full view of patients lowered the patient's morale. Therefore, the sanatorium tried transporting the dead bodies as secretively as possible to increase the morale and lower the death rates, using the tunnel to that end. The doctors and workers of this time also believed that this would help to lower the disease's spreading rate. Hence, the tunnel was also known as the body chute or death tunnel by the locals and paranormal investigators visiting the sanatorium.
Over 50,000 people are believed to have died inside the walls of Waverly Hills over the years of its existence. So obviously, it's only natural that the spirits of some of those poor souls remain here today. One of the most popular ghosts recognized at the Waverly Hills Sanatorium is that of a young boy named Timmy, who enjoys playing catch with visitors of the building. It is said that if you roll a ball down a long hallway, oftentimes Timmy will roll the ball back to you, which is a welcome change of pace for a haunted building. But, unfortunately, not all the residents, ghosts, of Waverly Hills are quite so playful.
Another ghost that is often sighted at the location is a woman who once worked as a nurse back when Waverly Hills was operating as a tuberculosis facility. The story goes that the nurse hanged herself in the building, and she is now believed to still be roaming the hallways. Finally, the last frequently sighted spirit is a mysterious man in white that drifts through the corridors late at night. There is no information regarding who the ghost was in life, but his presence is often cited by individuals brave enough to take a deep dive into the maze-like facility. And obviously, there are plenty more spirits wandering the halls of the old Waverly Hills, but these are just a few of the most talked about. Investigators run into spirits quite often when visiting and catch some amazing pieces of evidence.
One of the more well-known investigation teams to have visited here is Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures. We have a few clips to play for you guys of their time at Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Season 3, Episode 6. The first clip is going to be one about the body shoot, and the second clip is going to be about the nurse that hung herself. Here we go.
And then one of the doctors thought it would be good for patient morale not to let patients see all the people that were dying. Well, they took them down a body chute.
Is this the death tunnel?
Yes.
Zach Bagans, you are now entering the death tunnel. Just want to describe to you to physically be here instead of seeing it on a television, feeling it in here, knowing the history, knowing how many lives from all ages, thousands, were carted off here. A tunnel,
485 feet.
485 feet going down at a
45-degree angle. This side here is actually the side that they would hook the coffins onto, and they had a cable system that would hook in up here. It would hook onto the coffins to lower them down.
I mean, just think about being around all this death, though, every day. It's got to saturate your mind.
All right, so playing that clip and seeing, like, for myself, that tunnel, it's just one giant, long tunnel, super dark, with one little bit of light shining through at the end. And it is quite vandalized. There's graffiti all over the walls.
So it's disrespected, so any kind of energy or spirit that may have, for some reason, been attached to that tunnel, I don't know why you'd be attached to that tunnel, but maybe feel disrespected. I understand that it was used so the patients didn't see the bodies being brought in and out of those tunnels.
Drug away.
But they're also claiming that it was to kind of quell the spread of the disease. But that doesn't make any sense to me because
It's airborne.
As with let's just say, current viruses that are being made a big deal, wouldn't all those diseases then fester right in that tunnel? That's all my thought was.
Let's get into the next clip.
We're headed right now to room 502 where the nurse hung herself.
We're going to use this new piece of equipment called a REM pod. Anything comes in within this antenna, Any spirit, you'll sense it. But you have to be close. Like, look, I'm this close to it.
So
It has to walk up on it for it to go off.
What's going on?
So, did you see that?
Yeah. Step back. Step back. Are you rolling on that?
Is there somebody here? I can feel it, Nick. Are you standing right here? Can you grab my hand? Can you step away from this so it'll turn off?
No way.
You like playing with that now, don't you? Because you're seeing something react to your movement. Now I want you to step back again.
Really quick, this is something often documented, is spirits will see something and be able to interact with something for the first time. And we as investigators often believe that's them just being severely infatuated with this new piece of equipment that they've never seen before. And just like Zach stated, the spirit that they are interacting with is very excited that they're seeing something react to their own presence.
If you talk to us, I'll be able to hear you with the thing I'm holding in my hand, and we can play it back and you can hear your own voice.
What is your name? Do you like playing with this?
Yes. Yes. You like that, huh? Zach, my whole hand just got. You feel breeze?
She's right here. She's right here with us. She's
Feeling
nice.
the energy right now.
She's nice. I do too. Now I want you to communicate on that digital recorder Nick, my friend, is holding. Can you tell us your name? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Can you tell us your name? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. Can you step away and walk backwards for a second?
Follow me and step away.
Follow Zach.
Come here. Come to my voice and step away from that. Come here now. Now stay over here with me. Nick's digital recorder just captured this voice, which sounds like a child responding to me. Now stay over here with me. I don't want you to be afraid.
It's lighting up blue.
It's lighting up.
It is.
That means that it's a strong energy.
Good job, you're touching it.
You're touching the top. Will you do us a favor? If you want to follow us, follow us.
The old sanatorium is currently owned by Charlie and Tina Mattingly. The couple purchased the site in 2001 in hopes of restoring the sanatorium and turning it into a local tourist site. Together with volunteers from Waverly Hills Historical Society, the group now runs regular historical and ghost tours all year round. You can visit the property for yourself at 4400 Paralee Drive in Louisville, Kentucky, and see for yourself why Waverly Hills is on
Haunted America.